Two of the biggest names in the entire NASCAR Cup Series will not be behind their own wheels this Sunday, and the reasons could not be more different from each other. One man is hiding a broken bone that still hasn't healed. The other man is being benched for the exact opposite reason, because he's been winning too much. And here's the part that's about to blow your mind. Nobody is telling you the full story behind either of these decisions. There's a rule buried inside NASCAR's rulebook that almost nobody outside the garage knows about, and it just forced one of the sport's fastest rising stars out of his own car this weekend. And there's an injury situation so serious that the driver himself admitted, on camera, that he genuinely does not know if he'll finish the race he's about to start. Stick around, because by the end of this video you're going to know exactly who's stepping into these cars, why these two decisions happened in the same week, and what it could mean for the rest of both of these drivers' seasons. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button right now, because this channel breaks down every single storyline NASCAR doesn't want you connecting the dots on before anyone else does. This weekend is already historic before a single lap has even been run. For the very first time ever, the NASCAR Cup Series is racing on a brand new street circuit. A track that didn't exist until now, built on Naval Base Coronado in San Diego, California, is called the Qualcomm Circuit. 19 turns, 3.4 miles of concrete, tight corners, and zero margin for error. Every single driver in this field, from the rookies to the championship contenders, is walking into this race blind. Nobody has ever turned a lap here in competition before. It's the ultimate equalizer, and that detail matters more than you think, because it's the exact reason one of NASCAR's brightest young stars just got locked out of his own race car this weekend. Let's start with the story that's already sending shockwaves through the garage, the story of Zilisch. If you've been following NASCAR even casually over the last 2 years, you know this name. Zilisch isn't just another prospect. He's the kid who tore through the Xfinity Series with a rookie season that bordered on absurd. 10 wins in a single year. 10. Numbers like that don't happen by accident, and they don't happen to drivers who are going to stay in the minor leagues for long. So this season, Trackhouse Racing made the call everyone expected. They moved Zilisch up to the Cup Series full-time. The next step, the big leagues. But here's where it gets interesting, and where most fans lose track of what's actually been happening behind the scenes. Even after locking in his full-time Cup seat, Zilisch never actually left his old team behind. He's been quietly jumping back into the Xfinity Series, officially branded the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series now, running select races for his former team, JR Motorsports. Not once or twice, 7 times already this season. And every single one of those starts has come in the same car, the number 1 Chevrolet, a ride he's been sharing with another young gun, Carson Kvapil. And Zilisch hasn't just been showing up to collect a paycheck in that car. He's been winning in it. A win at Bristol Motor Speedway. Another win at Watkins Glen International. Add that to the 10 victories from his rookie season, and you start to understand why this kid is being talked about as one of the most dangerous talents in the entire sport right now. His most recent outing came at Pocono Raceway, where he crossed the line in 9th, solid, not spectacular, but still proof that even on an off day, he's racing at the front of the field. So naturally, you'd expect Zilisch to be back in that number 1 car again this weekend in San Diego. Right? Wrong. And the reason is going to surprise you. Zilisch will not be racing in Saturday's Xfinity Series event at all. Not because of an injury. Not because of a contract dispute. Not because of a crash. He's being kept out of the car because of a rule written specifically to deal with situations exactly like this one. Here's how it works. NASCAR allows full-time Cup Series drivers to compete in this weekend's Cup race on the brand new Qualcomm Circuit. Because, remember, nobody has ever raced there before. Rookie or veteran, everyone's starting from zero. There's no unfair experience advantage to worry about. But that exact logic does not apply to Saturday's Xfinity Series race. That rule only covers the Cup event. Which means, for the first time all season, Zilisch is completely locked out of the car he's been racing all year. At the exact moment his Cup Series rookie experience and his dominant Xfinity form were colliding into one massive storyline. So now the question becomes, who takes the wheel of that number 1 Chevrolet in his place? The answer is Carson Kvapil. And trust me, his story this season might honestly be even crazier than Zilisch's. Picture this. 18 races into the season, And this weekend marks Kvapil's 13th different car change. 13. That's not a typo. He has switched teams 6 separate times already this year. And this race in San Diego will be his 7th consecutive race in a different entry, meaning he hasn't driven the same car back-to-back since April. Think about how insane that is for a second. Most drivers spend an entire season building chemistry with one crew, one car, one setup. Kvapil has been bouncing between rides almost every single weekend, adapting on the fly over and over again, race after race. It's not just the number 1 Chevrolet either. When JR Motorsports needs him elsewhere, he's jumped into their number 9 car. When both of JR Motorsports' entries are already filled, he slid into the number 91 Chevrolet, fielded jointly by DGM Racing and Jesse Iwuji Motorsports. 3 different teams, 3 different cars, constantly shifting, constantly adjusting, and somehow, through all of that chaos, his results have barely wavered. Right now, Kvapil sits 7th in the Xfinity Series point standings, 94 points clear of the playoff cut line. 9 top 10 finishes already this season, 4 of those inside the top 5. The only thing missing from his resume at this level is that elusive first career win, and this weekend, stepping into a car that's already won twice this season with Zilisch behind the wheel, he's getting maybe his best shot yet to finally break through. But don't get too comfortable thinking this is the new normal. Zilisch is expected to jump straight back into that number 1 Chevrolet for the following 2 Xfinity races, at Sonoma Raceway and Chicagoland Speedway. So this is a 1-weekend window, 1 shot. And if Kvapil delivers in San Diego, in a brand new car on a brand new track he's never seen before, that's a story that doesn't just disappear after Saturday. Saturday's race, officially called the United Rentals Driven to Serve 250, airs on the CW network, with coverage starting at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, that's storyline number 1. But it's not even the biggest one this weekend. Not by a long shot, because while Zilisch is being kept out of his car by a technicality, there's another driver fighting to even get into his, and what he's dealing with is a lot more serious than a scheduling rule. His name is Christopher Bell, and right now he's racing with a broken wrist. 2 weekends before this San Diego race, Bell was involved in a hard, violent crash with Hendrick Motorsports Chase Elliott at Michigan International Speedway. The result was a fractured left wrist. For most people, that kind of injury means weeks off, a cast, physical therapy, time to heal. For a Cup Series driver mid-season, with a championship still in play, stepping away isn't that simple. Bell didn't sit out. He climbed straight back into his car and ran the entire race distance at Pocono Raceway, just days after the injury. Afterward, he downplayed it, saying his wrist felt okay, except in the moments his car slammed over bumps from cars racing around him. Read between the lines on that for a second. He's telling you, in his own words, that every hit, every bump, every piece of rough track sends pain straight through a bone that hasn't healed yet. And now he's heading into San Diego, onto a brand new, unforgiving street circuit that nobody has ever raced on, still carrying that injury. When reporters asked him directly, after Friday's opening practice session, whether he'd be able to complete the full race, Bell didn't sugarcoat it. He admitted he genuinely doesn't know yet. He said the call on whether he finishes the race is something his team will have to weigh as the situation unfolds in real time, meaning, by his own admission, this is shaping up to be a decision made in the middle of the race itself, not before it. Now think about why that's such a brutal situation to be in. The Qualcomm Circuit isn't some gentle road course. It's 16 turns of tight, aggressive steering input, completely different from the wide, sweeping layout of Pocono. Every single corner demands force through the wrists and hands, exactly the kind of stress a freshly fractured bone cannot handle without consequences. Bell himself called it a high-risk racetrack and admitted he can't afford a setback this early in his recovery. He's only 2 weeks removed from the original injury. The goal, in his words, is to get back to 100% as fast as possible, and then figure out what happens from there. It gets worse. During Friday's practice session, the combined effort between Bell and his standby driver only produced the 36th fastest lap out of 39 cars on track. And on top of all of that, Bell's actual cast had to be rewrapped this week after it lost its shape following the pounding it took at Pocono. So with all of that uncertainty hanging over the team, Bell's crew has done what any smart team would do. They've lined up a standby driver, just in case Bell physically cannot continue. That driver is 18-year-old Brent Cruz, a Joe Gibbs racing prospect currently competing in the Xfinity Series. And here's the twist: Cruz isn't some random reserve driver plucked off the bench. He's been red-hot lately. 6 top 5 finishes across his last 9 starts, including 3 runner-up results. The only thing he's missing on his record is Cup Series experience, because right now, he has 0 career starts at NASCAR's top level. But don't let that fool you into thinking he's not ready. His path here has been built race by race. A 6th-place finish in his Xfinity Series debut at Circuit of the Americas back in March. Another 6th-place run at Watkins Glen International in May. And further back, in the Truck Series, a runner-up finish at the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval last October. This is a kid who's been quietly stacking up results everywhere NASCAR has put him. And during Friday's Cup Series practice, Cruz actually climbed into Bell's car and ran laps of his own, and nearly matched Bell's best time, missing it by just 0.05 of a second, on a track nobody has ever raced before, in someone else's car. As an 18-year-old with 0 Cup starts to his name, Cruz himself opened up about the strange position he's in this weekend. Being close friends with Bell off the track, having raced dirt together for years, while at the same time being ready to take his car away from him the moment it's needed. He said it plainly. It's not an ideal situation, but he's glad to be there for his friend, and he believes Bell is tough enough to push through it. Still, he made it clear if the call comes, he'll be ready. And Bell's own words about Cruz might be the most telling part of this entire story. He called this the perfect scenario for a driver like Cruz, a brand new circuit where, for once, everyone is starting on equal footing with 0 experience advantage for anyone. He praised Cruz as an exceptional road course racer, someone who performed well in the simulator and looked strong in practice, despite Bell's own car struggling badly with setup. Bell even admitted that if Cruz ends up racing, the team won't be limited by a lack of driving talent, which, coming from a Cup Series veteran about an 18-year-old with no top-level starts, is about as strong an endorsement as you'll ever hear. Now let's talk about what actually happened on track during Friday's practice, because the speed chart tells its own story heading into Sunday. Kyle Larson topped the session, posting the fastest lap of the day, 2 minutes, 16.588 seconds, an average speed just under 90 miles per hour. Behind him, the top 5 rounded out with Todd Gilliland, Ty Gibbs, Connor Zilisch. Yes, even with the Xfinity situation hanging over him, Zilisch was still flying in Cup practice, and Carson Kvapil. Further down the order, Shane Van Gisbergen ran the 8th fastest lap, while Austin Hill, now driving the car left behind by the late Kyle Busch, posted the 9th fastest time. And buried in that same practice session was another milestone almost nobody is talking about. Kevin Magnussen made his NASCAR Cup Series debut this weekend, climbing into the number 91 Trackhouse Racing Chevrolet. He finished 29th fastest in the session. Not flashy, but a debut on a track nobody has ever seen before is never going to be easy for anyone. And right in the middle of all of that, sitting at 36th, was Christopher Bell, a driver currently 10th in the Cup Series point standings, 70 points clear of the playoff cut line, fighting through a broken wrist on a track designed to punish exactly that kind of injury. Here's the part of this story that changes everything, though. Under NASCAR's current rules, all Bell actually needs to do to receive full credit for his result on Sunday is start the race. He doesn't need to finish it himself. He doesn't even need to complete a single full lap beyond the start. If he hands the wheel to Cruz 2 laps in, the result still belongs to his number 20 car and his championship standing. That single rule is exactly why this entire situation has been left so wide open. There's no pressure forcing Bell to push through unnecessary pain, but there's also nothing stopping him from trying to grind out the whole race if he believes he can handle it. Bell himself has said he hopes to come back to this circuit someday under better circumstances, fully healthy, and actually get to experience racing it the way it deserves to be raced. But that's a problem for another day. Right now, this Sunday, on a brand new track nobody has ever competed on, with a fractured wrist that hasn't even had 3 weeks to heal, the only question that matters is whether Christopher Bell starts the race, finishes the full distance himself, or hands the car over to an 18-year-old with no Cup Series experience somewhere in the middle of those 75 laps. And by Bell's own admission, even he doesn't know the answer yet. That decision isn't getting made in a meeting room this week. It's getting made mid-race, lap by lap, depending on how much pain his wrist can actually take. Sunday's Anduril 250 goes green at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, broadcast live on Amazon Prime Video. 75 laps around a circuit nobody has ever raced. Two drivers locked out of their normal seats for two completely different reasons. Two replacement drivers, one inheriting a car that's already won twice this season, the other potentially inheriting the wheel of a Cup Series veteran mid-race, in what could become his actual Cup debut without a single second of warning. If you want to see exactly how this plays out, whether Bell grits through all 75 laps, whether Cruz ends up taking the wheel and making his Cup debut on a moment's notice, and whether Kvapil can finally break through for that first career win in a car that isn't even his own. Make sure you're subscribed, because the moment this race goes green, every twist that happens on that brand new San Diego circuit is getting broken down right here.